We are just in this world learning to love and be loved. And we have a great guest with us this morning who's going to help us do even more of that. So let's get right to it. Good morning. Welcome to those who are here. You made it through the snow to get here. You know, I know for us it's a lot of snow, right? It's like a half an inch. For those of you from around the world, around the country, welcome. It's great to be together this morning. We have Reverend Mary Katherine Morn with us. She is a Unitarian Universalist minister with almost 40 years of experience in our ministry. She served our churches for almost 30 years, including when I came here. I've known her for 25 years. When I came here, she was at one of our large churches in Fairfax, Virginia, leading that church after many other churches that she'd led throughout her ministry. And now she has come and has been running our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, an organization you'll be hearing more about during this service, but one that is a great organization for human rights and justice around the world and throughout our country here in the United States. So I'm glad to have our special guest with us. Of course, Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk is with us, our program minister, and in just a moment she is going to lead us in our invocation. If you're online, you can drop in the chat or in the comments if you have someone you'd like us to light a candle for, or an occasion that you're celebrating or mourning. We will do that a little bit later in the service. At this time, I'd invite everybody to rise as you are able, and let us join in our invocation and covenant.
This indeed is a day that God has made. Let us then rejoice and be glad in it. And let us count our many blessings. Let us be grateful for our capacity to see, hear, feel, and understand. And let us be grateful for this incredible gift of life. And let us be especially grateful for the ties of love that bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all our days. Let us join in our covenant printed in our order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law.
This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief. And as our chalice lighters come forward, let's turn and greet our neighbors.
Wonderful, thank you. Continue to greet each other after the service in our fellowship hall. We've got refreshments and our bookstore and other things, so I hope you can stick around and enjoy each other's company on this cool day. Let's keep each other warm. In just a moment after our chalice lighters, I'm going to invite those who are visiting us today. We've got a little gift for you, so we're going to have our usher come down the aisle and give you a gift. But before that, our chalice lighters, Larry and Phyllis Wolverton, have been members of this church for many years. They go back to Dr. John Wolfe. I don't think before that, right? John Wolfe was the minister when you came, yes? And Larry, when I came, Larry was driving all over the city, picking people up to make sure they could come to church, folks who couldn't drive. And he had a wonderful ministry for many years. It's taken us a long time to actually replace Larry after he retired, but we now have that ministry going again. But Larry and Phyllis has served in many capacities in this church, great supporters of All Souls. Thank you very much for lighting our chalice this morning. They also are supporters of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So that's another reason why we wanted them to light our chalice this morning.
This is the hour. The time has come. Mindful of our responsibilities as leaders of this faith and guardians of the living tradition, we call upon that great cloud of witnesses, those who have come before, those who are here now, and those who have yet to come.
We seek their presence, love, and support in this place at this hour. We kindle this flame to light their path and call them near as we undertake this sacred work.
As the music plays, if you're here for the first time, if you raise your hand, I see that Cynthia is going to come through the aisle, and we have a gift for you, and we'd love to give you a gift to take home with you.
Mary Katherine Morn, I appreciate the welcome, the introduction. I'm grateful. I was hoping for a warmer welcome. I've come from Boston. But at least it's what I'm used to. I want to share a story this morning about how the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee got started. But as I was thinking about this story, I was realizing that the really important thing is that this story helps me feel brave. And sometimes I need help feeling brave. Anybody else sometimes feel a little bit afraid? Like right now? I feel a little bit afraid because I'm new and I'm talking to people I don't know. And so I'm grateful you're all here. You help me feel, church helps me feel braver. I also think of Frog and Toad. Y'all remember Frog and Toad? Well, Frog and Toad were reading a book one time about people who are really brave. And after they finished the book, they looked at each other and they said, do you, Frog, Toad said, Frog, do you think we're brave? And Frog said, anyway, I can never get it right. Anyway, so they asked each other, do you think we're brave? Well, let's go find out. So they went on an adventure. They went out into the woods, they climbed a mountain, and they were feeling very brave. And then they passed a dark cave. And they walked a little faster, and then they saw a hungry snake, and they got even faster walking, and then this hawk swooped above them, and their shadow scared them, and they started running home, shouting the whole way, "We are not afraid!" And they got back to their house, and Frog climbed in bed, and Toad got in the closet and closed the door. And Frog yelled out from behind the closet, "I am so glad I have a brave friend like you, Toad." And Toad said, "I am so glad I have a brave friend like you." Friends help us feel brave. Coming to church helps me feel brave. And I want to tell you a story about a couple of people who were the reason the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee came into being. And it goes back 85 years. That's how long UUSC has been around. That's even older than Marlin. It was a long time ago. Yep. So there were people in Prague, Czechoslovakia, and they were Unitarians. Did you know there were Unitarians in Prague, Czechoslovakia? And in fact, it was a really big church. 3,000 people would come on Sunday mornings to church in Prague at the Unitarian Church. Nicole has seen that church and met the people who are still there in Prague who are Unitarians. So if you want to know more about the Prague Unitarians, you should definitely talk to Nicole. This was 1939, and the Unitarians and many others in Prague were feeling very frightened because the Nazis were coming to power. The Nazis were people who believed that only certain people should be free. But a lot of people shouldn't even be free, like Jewish people and gay and lesbian people. And so the Unitarians in Prague called the Unitarians in the United States and said, we need some help. Do you think that you could help us? We're having a really hard time right now, and we need your help. And so here in the United States, in Boston, Massachusetts, Reverend Waitstill Sharp, and his wife Martha said, well, yes, we'd like to try to help. And they traveled all the way to Prague in 1939 to try to help. And what they did there, when they got there, they met new friends who joined in and helped them, and they worked together. And they were helping people who were in danger escape so they'd be safe. And they did really good work in Prague. But then the Nazis came after the Sharps as well. And so the Sharps had to escape. And they came back to the United States. And here in the United States, Unitarians helped them by sending money and joining in the effort. And the Sharps actually went back. And through all of World War II, the Sharps met new people, brought new people in, and they worked to help people who were in danger escape. And that's how the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee was born. Churches collected money, helped support the work. And you know what? That's exactly what happens right now. In the last several years, this church, All Souls Church, took 2 really significant collections just in the last 3 years to help UUSC today by supporting people in Ukraine who were affected by war and in Haiti as well. So I came all the way from Boston to be with you today so that I could say thank you and to tell you what a difference it makes when congregations help in this way. When we work together, when we partner to face hard times, we find courage and we discover how strong we are. I am so grateful that you came to church today, whether you are in the room with us right now, watching in real time online, or maybe during lunch on Tuesday. I'm glad you showed up because your being here helps me feel brave.
We'd like to invite our children to go with Miss Shannon now, my children and youth, as they go to their classes. I'd like to share some words from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. from his last address to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in August of 1967. In the address, he was speaking to
not only the people in the room, but to all of us, about the collision of immoral power with powerless morality. And he described this as the major crisis of the time. And in his speech, which was largely a critique of capitalism, in his speech, he also talked about the way people of good faith had gotten a little confused about the relationship between love and power. Power, properly understood, is nothing but the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social, political, and economic change. Now, a lot of us have our moral convictions and concerns, and so often have problems with power. There's nothing wrong with power if power is used correctly. What happened is that some of our philosophers got off base. And one of the great problems of history is that the concepts of love and power have usually been contrasted as polar opposites. So that love is identified with a resignation of power and power with a denial of love. What is needed is the realization that power without love is reckless and abusive. Could I get an amen? And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power, correcting for everything that stands against love.
In this moment, we open ourselves to the care and concern that we have for one another in this community. We are reminded that in times of difficulty, there will always be a light that will show us the way, and that will remind us of the possibility of hope and abundance of love. We recognize that none of us are alone. This morning, I'd light candles and symbolic of our heartfelt condolences for the Holland Hall community. On Thursday night, 3 juniors were in an awful car accident, and 2 died, and 1 is in critical condition in the hospital. We are keeping the friends and families of those lost and injured in our prayers today as they cope with unimaginable loss. This morning, we light a candle for Alyssa Hall's mother. She lives out of town and she is dealing with critical illness. We're holding Joanne Huber, holding her this morning and lighting a candle as she's been in the hospital for 2.5 weeks, struggling with pneumonia and now the flu. We light a candle this morning for Anitra Lavenhar's uncle, Bob Fisher, who passed away this Thursday. Keeping their family in our hearts. It's also been a time and season of love. We've heard from many of you celebrating anniversaries and moments of meeting, especially on Valentine's Day. Lifting up this morning Dawn and Lynn Budis on the happy occasion of that meeting on Valentine's Day long ago. Other names that we wish to be lifted this morning, let us take a moment and say them into this space together. And our final candle this morning, I light in celebration of Earl and Josie's 50th wedding anniversary. Indeed, a symbol of love. Holding all those spoken and unspoken prayers and concerns, sorrows and joys that we carry with us each and every week to this place. If you have a loved one in this past year that has passed away, or this Sunday is the closest to the anniversary, I invite you to stand in body or spirit for a moment of silence.
You may be seated. Let us pray. Deliver us, O God, of our understanding from any hesitation to take a stand for justice. May we never run from our responsibility to the source of all life. In you, O God, we find the strength to confront the forces of evil, the courage to stand for and speak the truth, no matter what the cost. Our way is the way of that which is true and good and holy, the way of life, of integrity forever. May we feel the blessing of the indwelling of the Spirit within us, around us, in this place, wherever we are. May we know that you are present now and forever. Amen.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Sing it with me. When I breathe, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, oh, I breathe in. When I breathe out, yes, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe, yes, yeah. Oh, I breathe out. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Once more, just let it wash away as you sing. When I breathe, yes, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. Let's sing that together. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. Please rise and by your spirit. Let's sing it together, everybody. Come on. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. I see some of you clapping your hands already. Let's do that. You've got to clap. Come on. You've got to clap when the Spirit says clap. You've got to clap when the Spirit says clap. When the Spirit says clap, you've got to clap, oh Lord. You've got to clap when the Spirit says clap. Come on, put your hands together like this. Everybody. Come on, you got to sing. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you've got to sing, oh Lord. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Thank you, Rick. You've got to love. You've got to love when the Spirit says love. You've got to love when the Spirit says love. When the Spirit says love, you've got to love, oh Lord. You've got to love when the Spirit says love. All right, would you do one quick thing for us before we finish this song? Give somebody a smile, a handshake, a hug. Come on, come on. Tell them you're loved. You are loved. You are loved. Yes, you are. You are loved. You've got to do. Let's take it up. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. Yeah. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. I feel braver yet. I am so grateful to be here, so happy to be with you. One thing Marlon didn't say in his introduction is that the majority of my ministry was actually in congregations, was served in the Deep South. I have deep respect and appreciation for the ministry that I know you do here in Tulsa. I was trained, in fact, I went to seminary right down the road. So I was sharing with Nicole yesterday that my first ministers' meeting, I was 23. I met John Wolfe. And he was not young then, as you know. And have for all these years watched and admired and appreciated the vital ministry that this congregation has been serving, the way this congregation has been serving this community and this state, and in fact, all of Unitarian Universalism. And having Marlon as a colleague for these years has been a great gift. Those of us who gathered together to learn about ministry together, we Many of us often turn to Marlon to learn things. I'm also so happy for you that you now have another minister who I deeply admired working on your team. Nicole's gifts are well known, and now she is training up our newest ministers, and we're so fortunate in our movement for this ministry, Nicole. And I'm grateful to everyone on the team today, although I'm scared of David. But everyone on the team who has brought us together and helped us be here and have this beautiful worship opportunity together. There was an election, but a powerful leader rejected the results. He threatened his enemies, he jailed his political opponents, and now, as senior general of the nation's military, he is waging a war against the people of his nation. I'm speaking of Burma, also known as Myanmar. In February 2021, you may remember January 2021. In February 2021, I was on a call with the UUSC board and some of our partners from Burma, including Debbie Stoddard, who's the head of ASEAN Burma out of Thailand. And our board was getting an update from the work of our partners there, primarily doing the work of supporting the Rohingya Muslim minority population there who had experienced a genocide. We were learning about what was happening, the good work they were doing. You may remember that in Burma, there is a significant Buddhist nationalist movement. Well, so Debbie, in the middle of reporting out from the partners, actually stopped for a moment and said, by the way, we're not sure if these rumors are true, but it looks like our military may be about to stage a coup. And then she said, they're taking a page from Trump's playbook. And within 48 hours, Aung San Suu Kyi was in prison again. Last month, I traveled with several UUSC staff and a member of our board to Chiang Mai, Thailand, to host a convening of UUSC partners from Burma. Now our work has extended beyond the Rohingya minority to many other communities impacted by the brutal coup that started that February. Over 2.5 days, we learned about their current struggle for freedom in the midst of the military's ongoing attacks against their own people. 15 UUSC partners organizations shared their vision for a multi-ethnic democracy. They still believe. Their stories were so brave, so creative, so powerful. Now, Cherry, she's the one on the far left, from the Korean Peace Support Network, shared one of the most creative stories we heard during our time there. They had actually received funding, probably from USAID, I'm gonna guess, to provide vaccines during the pandemic for people who were in the camps. But they could not find a way to make it happen because of laws about the border. People were just over the border. And so after some conversations and creative thinking, they set up a tent right on the border. And Cherry said they just had people line up, nurses on one side, people needing vaccines on the other side, and one by one they would reach their arm over the border to receive their vaccines. One of the highlights of our trip included attending the 25th anniversary of the Women's League of Burma. This photograph is actually from that amazing event. Perhaps you know that there are 33 distinct ethnic groups in Burma. And in the last 25 years of Burma's history, there has been violence, hatred, violence, and even genocide waged against many of these ethnic minority groups. These women, there were 300 women in the room that night, representing that ethnic and religious diversity, are still holding a vision of inclusive democracy. And through all of these 25 years of all of this hatred and violence and ethnic cleansing, the women have been coming together and continuing to work together to build a new world. I feel so grateful for the gift of witnessing their vision and their courage and their love and their power. It was poignant. Our trip was in November, late November, early December. It was poignant for us throughout our time together that our partners sought to support us, knowing that we were reeling in some ways by the potential impacts of our own election and the potential harm to human rights that might be coming. They reminded us, our partners, who we help, they reminded us about the power of resistance, and they told us, we're in this together. UUSC's Burma partners are not the only ones reaching out in support and solidarity right now. Just the week after the election, in fact, our staff at UUSC received a message from Juan Jose, who is the director of UUSC partner Pope No in Guatemala. Pope No provides support to children who are deported back to Guatemala from the United States, often unaccompanied. They provide support to these children, help them find family or guardians who can take care of them, or find someone if there isn't family still in the country. Juan has spent decades working in dangerous conditions to provide opportunity and self-determination for communities living under the weight of government oppression, and self-determination for communities experiencing violence. The day after our election, he wrote to let us know he was thinking of us and mourning with us over the expected impact on human rights and sending us strength. Remember, he said, remember, the resistance of generations makes us stronger. We are not the first people to resist. I'm glad for this opportunity to introduce Juan Jose and Cherry to you this morning. When I read Dr. King's words about love and power, I see their faces and the faces of so many UUSC has the privilege of partnering with in times like these. I was grateful this week to hear Marlon's really important guidance for spiritual health in hard times from his sermon last week. Go back and listen if you missed it. I really needed that. And this week, I simply add, and we need each other to be brave. We are stronger together. And in faithful community, we can bring power to the demands of love and love to the power of action. At UUSC, right now, our next human rights crisis response is developing right here in the United States. Even if you might hear my voice shake a little more than usual, I can tell you we know what to do. I'm not saying that we know everything, that we can predict anything, or that we know the only right way. I'm just saying we know what matters. We've learned this again and again from our partners. We know how to resist tyranny and repression wherever it emerges, in partnership, with movements for change, and always centering the people who are most impacted. As you know, no doubt, right now some of the people most impacted in the United States, and this has been true for several years, are people who are trans. Before the election, our staff at UUSC spoke with our partners at Pink Haven, and we asked them, this was in late summer, we said, if it happens that the election is carried by individuals and groups that are denying your humanity, that are legislating against your existence, what will you need to survive and to do the work that you do? Perhaps some of you have heard of Pink Haven. Anyone? I'm so glad to tell you a little bit about Pink Haven this morning. Pink Haven is a network of activists and organizations working to help trans and gender-expansive people who are fleeing unsafe states in the United States. UUSC has been supporting Pink Haven since its founding 3 years ago. And what happens is we connect people in states where there are laws against their existence move to places where they can find community and safety. And we connect them with Unitarian Universalists, with UU congregations, other progressive congregations who welcome these travelers and help them create a new home for themselves and find new hope. Well, it makes sense. From its very beginnings, UUSC has worked in support of people who are forced to flee. Asylum seekers and internally displaced people in Hungary and Mexico and Ukraine, the Pacific and Bangladesh and many other places. We didn't know we would be working with displaced people here in the United States. Pink Haven asked us for a grant. We provided them with $80,000 within a week of the election to support travel subsidies, security, and staffing for Pink Haven, which is exactly what they told us we needed. Because of financial support from UUs and other progressive people, we were able to say yes. We know there will be many emerging needs for trans people and others in the coming months and years, and we will be working with our partners, old and new, here in the U.S., including UU congregations, to determine how UUSC can best support organizations protecting people, defending rights, and advocating for just laws and systems. Just this last week, we started work collaborating with a group that is filing a legal case against the administration concerning their illegal and immoral freeze on funds for foreign assistance. And all of this is happening even as we are remaining deeply committed to the partners we have, 75 partners in 25 countries around the world. Our commitments to these partners and movements is as important as ever. When we were in Thailand in early December, we drove by one of the largest refugee camps just across the border from the Karen state in Myanmar. That refugee camp receives 80% of its funding from USAID. I know that what we do at UUSC sounds like a lot. We have a bold mission, and I'm here to say that nothing less than a bold mission would be enough. Our strategy, though, is to focus on small, locally led organizations led by people who are impacted by oppression and who create innovative, local, effective ways to not only meet human need, but also to create systemic change. Our strategy arises from our commitment to the inherent dignity of all people. But at UUSC, we affirm not only the dignity of all people, we also affirm, and it's right there in our mission statement, the power of all people. Do you feel powerful? Yeah, me too. This is one of the great gifts I have discovered at UUSC. Our partners show us again and again that, as Dr. King reminds us, power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. This matter of love and power is aligned with what we say as Unitarian Universalists, what you say about yourselves, that you love beyond belief, that you have a vision of a better world that you work every day to create. Do you know you say that? I love that. I love that. It's easy, though, to forget this, to fall into what one minister calls the cardinal sin of Unitarian Universalists and other progressive people: sophisticated resignation. This world is a complicated place. I'm just one person. What difference could I possibly make? Well, friends, we have no time for that nonsense. All our talk about love is critical, but unless we remember our power, it's gonna be anemic. It's gonna be sentimental. Do you feel powerful? If you think power is only for the brightest, the luckiest, the most privileged, let me introduce you to just a few more people, just briefly, UUSC partners who would find that a very strange idea. Suleiman Wellings Longmore is a partner with Haitian Bridge Alliance. Suleiman is a legal fellow supporting a several-year research project documenting the unequal impacts of the U.S. immigration system. I know, we all know that there are unequal impacts, but documentation is vitally important. This research will be important in the ongoing and increasingly urgent legal battle for the rights of asylum seekers in the United States. Katja Bonte is a UUSC partner coordinator for GAR, which provides critical aid to repatriated Haitian migrants and fights for their human rights to be respected across borders. We are so glad to already have this strong relationship as their work has become more critical. Ana Maria Tesfaye is co-founder of Queers Vit, a UUSC partner offering resources and companionship to the queer community in Ukraine that has been impacted by Russia's full-scale invasion. I had the privilege of meeting Ana Maria in London when I visited there a year and a half ago. At that time, we were their only funders. Love and power, right? Can we stop spreading disinformation about our helplessness? Sure, the people in charge right now would love for us to Sure, the people in charge at any time would love for us to believe there's nothing to be done. I love what Rebecca Solnit says. The fact that we cannot save everything doesn't mean we cannot save anything, and everything we save is worth saving. Around the world, with your support, UUSC works with partners to challenge the systems that deny the dignity and worth and power of people. Systems that try to trick us into believing there is little we can do. In rejecting the notion that there is no other way and little we can do, feminist activists in Poland, indigenous climate activists in the Pacific, grassroots groups in Burma, feminist farmers in Nicaragua, land and water defenders in Honduras, democracy activists in Haiti, Unitarian Universalists in Tulsa, and many others are faithfully imagining what will make it possible for all people to thrive, for all people to flourish. Do you feel powerful? Yes. When you are tempted by despair, when you cannot imagine another fairer, more just world, I hope you will remember Cherry and Juan Jose and Suleiman and Katja and Ana Maria, because they are with us, just as we are with them. Whatever happens in the coming days and months and years, we will gather together as we have this morning We will take deep breaths together. We will light our candles together. We will pray together. We will sing together. We will recommit ourselves to the values we share and imagine new ways of being faithful to those values. Power without love is reckless and abusive. If we ever misunderstood that, we do not today. And love without power is anemic and sentimental. But friends, love that knows purpose and power that is animated by love, right there is a whole new world. Let's go.
The adult choir and the chamber choir are coming up to help us sing a song together. It's a song some of you may know, others of you may not. It is a song that was written several years ago called The Fire of Commitment. And the words are in your order of service and or will be on the screen. But we're so honored to sing this song as well because Reverend Mary Katherine Morn wrote the lyrics to this song. And it's a very powerful piece. And we hope that, would you please rise and body your spirit?
Yes.
Even if you're singing it for the first time, the choir is going to help you.
That's
Ready?
right.
Let's sing it.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our
Beautiful.
You may be seated.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, choir, for helping us sing. What a beautiful song, Mary Catherine. Let's give it up one more time for Mary Catherine Morn. She's doing the work of human rights and justice all over the world, and it just seems so crazy now that she's having to apply some of the stuff you've had to learn in other countries with autocratic governments and military dictatorships now in our own country to help our trans community and others to feel safe here in the United States from its own government, which is taking away rights. So I just want to say in just a moment, we're going to take up an offering. We're going to give that money to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So please give generously. Also, you were given an envelope when you came in, and if you would like to join, because our gifts that we give will go to support the organization, but if you want to become a member or renew your membership, you can do that with the envelope. There's a table in Emerson Hall, so afterward you can bring that envelope. I'm going to give in the plate today, my wife is, and then I'm going to also renew my membership here and bring this over to the table afterward. If you can't stop by the table and say hi to Mary Catherine and Cassandra, who's here from the USC, take the envelope home, fill it out, put in a check and send it over. I just know that for me, I can't go to Burma. I can't go to Haiti. I can't be helping, with this, whatever it is, this kind of new railroad to help folks get out of danger in our own country. But I know that Mary Catherine and her staff and team are doing it with other great partners all over the world. So I'm going to renew. If you'll see that a gift of $150 or more will be matched and doubled. So I'm going to renew my family membership for $150 today. I want to encourage you, if you can, to do the same or do more. And but you can get a membership for if you can't give 150, give 100, give 80, give 60, give 40, but give something and join the UUSC, because it's just a little thing that we can do and help a lot of people who need it the most. And one of the reasons that we give to the USC a lot of times is because, like they said, as people were helping those around in the Ukraine when the war began, we knew that the USC was going to go find a population that might not be easily helped by some of the mainstream organizations. So they went and found the LGBT community there and said, how can we help support you in the midst of this war? And that's the kind of organization it is. I'm real proud to be a part of it and to be a member. And thank you for today. A couple quick announcements as you're getting ready to give to the offering here in a second. Wednesday, Magic City Books is having the amazing Tamika Mallory is going to be here, a nationally recognized civil rights activist. She's got a new book out. It's a paid, ticketed event with Magic City Books. Please be looking at the weather. We're going to look online. Also, we'll post on our social media and other places because we understand the weather may be difficult on Wednesday, but we're hoping Tamika Mallory will be here and we'll be able to greet her. She'll be in conversation with Tiffany Crutcher from the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, two amazing women talking right here in this sanctuary on Wednesday night. Also, Wednesday night, for parents of 7th through 9th graders who are going to enroll your children in our Whole Lives sexual education curriculum, an amazing curriculum. There's a parent meeting that's mandatory if your child's going to be in the program. It's at 6:30 on Wednesday, so be sure to be there for that. On Friday night, we're going to be showing a movie and having a discussion about 1946, the mistranslation that shifted culture, exploring the story behind the mistranslation of the word homosexual in the Bible and its profound impact on the culture of all over the world. So that's an amazing movie. We're going to talk about that on Friday. And then mark your calendars, a week from Friday, trivia night's coming up, February 28th. You don't want to miss that. It's a lot of fun. You can join it with a team, or you can join as an individual and be on a team, but it's so much fun, and it goes and supports our wonderful children and youth choir. So come out, have some fun, and I'm going to be there. I think I'm going to be a judge this year, so I'm going to be watching, make sure nobody's cheating out there and judging the answers. So it's always a lot of fun. With that, let us now receive this morning's offering for the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. Beautiful. Let's hear for the All Souls Choir and Rick Fortner and Mike McCrary on the organ. It's always a joy when Mike's with us playing that beautiful instrument we have. Hey, as you go forth from this day, I just want to say how wonderful it is to be together. I feel warmer both on the outside and on the inside because we've been together for this time. And so it really means a lot that you showed up and made your way here, and that those of you who are online, are joining us and supporting us. At this time, I'd like to invite Mary Catherine to come forward and say some closing words. If you're online and on Zoom, stay on Zoom for some conversation afterward. If you're here, join us in Emerson Hall for some coffee and refreshments. If you're visiting today, we have just on the left as you go out our Sonnen Library, folks ready to greet you, and some refreshments in there for you. I look forward to saying hello to you as well.
Thanks, Marlon. Do you feel powerful? Yes. Look around. Take a minute. Look around you. Find power in these friends who have faithfully shown up today. Now look within and remember that you too carry the light of love with dignity and power. And let us look beyond as we leave this place and see a new world calling us. The world needs you. The world needs us. Let's go. Go and be blessed and be a blessing.